good.
Yes.
Okay, most active city in Saskatchewan, we need to pay more attention to making physical activity the easy choice.
And nowadays, everybody has one of these. Do you guys have one of these? Everybody has one of these. This is the easy choice, and this is a barrier to physical activity. So we want physical activity to be as easy as choosing this.
We spend a lot of time programming, but physical activity needs to be a lifestyle. There's no barriers to physical activity, just opening your door and going for a walk. There's only barriers to programs.
Absolutely, and even if you have some barriers, which some of our community members may have, there's ways to get around that, and there's creativity that we can tap into, and that's just something we gotta do.
And we feel that one of the main barriers that we can tap into is corporate sponsorship, to take down the barriers for people that can't afford some of the activities they'd like to participate in.
We also know that we're trying to be a bike-friendly community. We've added signs around the community asking people to share the lanes. By adding bike racks and other incentives for bikers, we can make it easier and safer for them to choose physical activity as well.
Shelley, can you tell the story about the guy in the bridge? That's such a great story.
Sure. So one time there was a gentleman walking across the bridge, and it was said to him that, hey, it's really good that you walk across the bridge to work every day. And he looked rather surprised, and he said, well, really, the real reason I walk across the bridge is because parking on the far side of the bridge is actually $10 cheaper than parking on the near side of the bridge. So we really need to make that choice easy for folks. It was really easy for him to pick the cheaper parking lot and therefore get his 20 minutes of walking in twice a day. And we need to engineer that back into our lives.
So really, if we made parking more expensive around places, it would make people want to walk there?
Sure, why not? Why don't we charge more for parking downtown and use that extra revenue to put bike racks in or have a Lend a Bike program?
I like the Lend a Bike program. That seems to be a really good idea. What can we say more about that?
Dale, can you say something about the bike-to-bike program?
The bike-to-bike program is used for sure in Montreal and other major cities across Canada, and what the process is there's a number of bikes in different locations throughout the city, and people pay to disconnect the bike from the holder and then drop it off at the holder when they get to the place that they want to go, i.e. downtown or up in a residential area. And if the bike isn't returned, their credit card is charged automatically. So it's a good overall fitness program, and it gets people out and gets that activity going.
There's certainly lots of ways that we can encourage people to be active. In our workplaces, we can advocate for incentives or for flex time, or ways that we can encourage employees to be active. Moose Jaw has a wealth of playgrounds and parks and walking trails. We just need to get out and use it. And like Heather was saying, the barrier is the ones that we create for ourselves. Everyone can be active.
And it doesn't have to be boring either. We can make it fun.
And you can always do it with a friend.
Absolutely. Let's make physical activity the easy choice.
Yay!
Thanks, everyone.
In order for Moose Jaw to be the most
Guys, we gotta be quiet, Christine. Jeez, where is security? Marion's tripping on my cord. We're on, so you're good to go anytime you want.
Okay. In order for Moose Jaw to be the most active city, literally in Saskatchewan, heck, let's say of the whole country, we really need to pay more attention to unstructured activities. One might wonder what we mean by that. What we mean by unstructured is the fact that it doesn't have to be a formal setting. You don't have to be a star basketball player or the best person on the ball team. All you need to do is get out and walk. Take your child to the park. Do some kind of activity. And really what we have decided is that we need those active parents, the ones who already recognize the value of exercise and the value of instilling it in their children, is for them to be the leaders in the community. We ask you as an active parent to find someone who has less activity, to find someone that you know just needs that little bit of a push to get out and to do things in the community. It might be a co-worker even when we go into the adult stage. You're there at lunchtime, you go for a walk every day and you say, why not come along with me? And you know what? It won't be very long before they're saying to the next person, why don't you join our group? So we encourage you as active citizens of Moose Jaw to go to, doesn't need to be a neighbor, doesn't need to be anyone that you don't know. And in fact, what we want is you to go to someone you feel comfortable with, someone they feel, and you are there, someone that they feel comfortable with, and we want you to go to them and we want you to say, I'd really like to take my child to the park and I'd love for you to come along. And you know what? We're going to get about 3 weeks in and you're going to say, I know that you're busy this afternoon, why don't I take your child? And eventually you're going to have a core group and that group is going to be getting out and getting active. So that's what we're encouraging you to do. It doesn't have to cost anything. It really just has to be that you decide that you're going to get everyone active. And right now, I'm going to make a pledge. I've been sitting here and I've been thinking, all right, you know, put your money where your mouth is. Well, Tourism Moose Jaw decided that we can easily afford 15 minutes a day for every one of our staff members to go out and take that walk around Mac and visit the tutor and go all around the grounds. And when people see us doing that, it isn't just a matter of being seen, but when we do that, we'll be part of what we want this city to be part of. Actually incorporating activity into all of our daily jobs, our everything that we do at home, that's going to be a big part of it. So that's what we want you to do. Get out, get moving, and take someone along with you. Thank you.
In order for Moose Jaw to be the most active city in Saskatchewan, we need to pay more attention to sustainability. And what we'd like to challenge the citizens of Moose Jaw is to establish ongoing practices within each neighborhood to support physical activities across all generations. And how we propose to do this is for the citizens to get involved with their local community association. Currently, we feel that the community associations are they used to be a vital part of Moose Jaw. We feel that they need to again be a vital part of Moose Jaw, and we need everyone to get involved in their local communities, to get to know their neighbors, to clean up their houses, to make people feel more comfortable within their communities. And by doing that, we'll create a better place for our kids to go out and play. Parents will feel a little bit more comfortable with their kids out in the street or, you know, close to the street. And just generally create a little bit more active lifestyle by having the ability to be able to go outside and enjoy our neighborhoods again. Now, we also feel that the schools are very important in this process as well. And we'd like to encourage people to get involved with their local school, wherever your children are going to, get involved with their communities and see how they can integrate well with the community associations as well. So we feel that this is very important for activity and for sustainability in the city. We feel that the more people get active in their communities, the more programs that they can maintain and develop and take ownership of, the better that the citizens of Moose Jaw will take part of those programs as well.
Okay. In order for Moose Jaw to be the most active city in Saskatchewan, we need to pay more attention to improving communications regarding the availability of recreational and fitness options in Moose Jaw. What would success look like in the best of all worlds? Well, we believe that all citizens should be aware of a reliable source of good current information on recreational fitness and wellness activities in the city. The reality right now in our community is that the Parks and Rec sends out a guidebook twice a year. Information on activities tend to be communicated by organizations to their own groups and or demographics. So members of a group are telling other people that they know, but it doesn't seem to be getting beyond that group. Thirdly, people don't necessarily know where to get information. And finally, information is often out of date when it is accessed. Some of our best ideas and so on, or practices or ideas that we could take forward. We believe a centralized information location would be ideal. It would likely be online and available and monitored through the Parks and Rec Department at City Hall. This would essentially be a linkage where you'd go into the City of Moose Jaw website, Parks and Rec Department would link to all the other agencies and so on in the community that are involved in fitness and well-being activities. To supplement online information, we propose a supplement of a monthly household drop-off that would go to households by volunteers on a regular basis, about once a month. We believe that having this centralized information would be a tremendous benefit and a resource for the community of Moose Jaw, as well as people looking in on the website at the city. One of the things that needs to be done is to develop a common slogan and logo, and so as people access websites or receive their monthly household drop-offs, the link will be made through the slogan and the logo that's on the document or on the website. We need to, in order to engage this work, we need to recognize that Moose Jaw at this time has a media that is very open to community activity and is a very valuable resource and would be able to provide fantastic support in getting the message out. That includes Shaw Cable, Golden West Radio, Times Herald, Moose Jaw Express, and so on. We would look at the possibility of corporate sponsorship. There is a good potential there to access some direct costs from local corporate agencies. And finally, we believe RIC could play a truly important role in helping us access the community agencies that need to be on board.
I'm here with Marianne Campbells from the Southwest District of Culture, Recreation and Sport. Today we're asking her, in order for Moose Jaw to be the most active community in Saskatchewan, what do we need to pay more attention to?
Well, hi Jocelyn. I think we need to focus a little more depth on the community engagement, the whole community as a whole being part of the philosophy of what physical activity is, so that we have more people participating. And that's not to discount that people aren't participating today and that people aren't active today, but a little more emphasis and a little more focus on people who are perhaps sitting at home a little more on the couch than what they could or should be.
Right. So if we were in the best world possible, what would that success look like?
Well, if we can look at people, reasons why they're not participating, and perhaps some of those reasons are the costs and accessibility to facilities. I'm not saying that we should look at redoing the infrastructure in its entirety, but more of a let's look at why they can't go. And if cost isn't the reason why, then let's look at some solutions. And perhaps there's some solutions that are already existing within our community and not creating new and other viable ways to make it happen.
Right. Yeah, so you mentioned some of the things that are kind of getting in our way right now, such as costs and accessibility. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention on top of that?
Well, I think when we want to promote the benefits of physical activity, we have very strong service clubs within our community, and we have a strong history of the good work that they have been doing. And I'm not trying to emphasize any service club one over the other, but everyone has contributed so much. But they have so much resources internally in each service club that I'm thinking that perhaps that they can help us in the promotion and make accessibility and the cost, reduce some costs and make it a little more accessible for young people, for single moms, for families, for seniors, for everyone to be able to get into facilities and participate in any form of recreation that they wish to.
Great. So what would be some new practices or new ideas that you feel like should be put in place in order for this challenge to happen?
That's a good question. I think when we look at a return of investment, we're a very cost-orientated society today, and when we look at what the cost of recreation and participation in any cultural activity or sport activity or recreational activity, regardless of what it is or the level it's at, there is a cost associated with health, and there's a cost associated with incarceration. When we look at the justice costs, all those costs far escalate and are far greater than what we do and have to invest in our youth and our families and children of today. So perhaps if we start reinvesting our money into the prevention, which in my world is sport, culture, and recreation, that perhaps we will have that return of investment in the later years and have the reduction of costs associated with health.